Are your tax dollars funding the sabotage of federal law enforcement? In Los Angeles, 4 suspects have just been charged with felony crimes for allegedly using homemade spike strips to flatten the tires of ICE vehicles. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. Those suspects were reportedly connected to a well-funded activist group, CHIRLA, a nonprofit that has received millions in taxpayer dollars from California and the federal government. Let's break down what happened, who's involved, and why this is part of a much bigger problem across the United States. Welcome to Nelly Miranda. The 4 suspects, identified as Gennaro Ernesto Ayala, Ju Jasmine Janine Allard, Sadat Jarnica, and Daniel Montenegro, were arrested after ICE vehicles had their tires punctured with metal spikes. And not just any spikes, these were homemade tire spike strips, likely intended to disable the vehicles during active immigration enforcement.
Another Home Depot ICE raid today, this one in Van Nuys. Video shows a lot of people with cell phones telling the officers that they're being recorded. One person is tackled to the ground by federal agents. According to Border Patrol Chief Agent Gregory Bavino, 4 people tried to obstruct their effort using, quote, improvised tire deflation devices to disable our vehicles. Those suspects were arrested.
So what's worse, these suspects were allegedly carrying tote bags branded with CHIRLA's logo, and those bags were filled with more spike devices. Police are treating this as a coordinated sabotage effort designed to physically interfere with federal law enforcement. So what is CHIRLA? It's the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights, or CHIRLA. It's one of the most prominent anti-ICE advocacy networks in California. They describe themselves as a nonprofit that provides legal help and humane immigrant services. But critics argue that CHIRLA is anything but peaceful. They've been repeatedly linked to anti-ICE riots in Los Angeles, violent events that include vandalism, threats to officers, and public disturbances. And yet, California has been rewarding them with taxpayer dollars. CHIRLA has received around $34 million in taxpayer funding, mainly through California state grants, taxpayer money being funneled into an organization now under a cloud of criminal suspicion. In March of this year, President Trump terminated all federal funding for CHIRLA, and that decision followed a growing body of evidence suggesting that the group may have used nonprofit status to channel money into street-level resistance against ICE. And now, the House Judiciary Committee, chaired by Rep. Jim Jordan and Senator Josh Hawley, have launched a formal investigation into whether CHIRLA helped fund the anti-ICE riots that erupted in L.A.
Senator Tulsi Gabbard just said that these riots in L.A. and all over the country are orchestrated. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right, Jesse. These aren't spontaneous at all. They're about as authentic as AstroTurf. They are bought and paid for flash mobs. And I want to know who's doing the buying and the paying. That's why today I've launched an investigation. I've sent multiple investigative demands today to various groups out on social media claiming they are paying for this. They are organizing it. They are financing it. We've all seen the videos of vans driving up, handing out gas masks right before somebody blows up a car. It's time we found out, where's the money coming from? Who's really behind this? I think the American people deserve answers.
On June 11th, Senator Josh Hawley wrote a letter to CHIRLA. I'm going to read you just the first part, and it says, I write in my capacity as chair of the Senate Subcommittee on Crime and Counterterrorism regarding your organization's alleged role in financing and materially supporting the coordinated protests and riots that have engulfed Los Angeles in recent weeks. While peaceful protest is a cornerstone of American democracy, these demonstrations have escalated into lawless mob actions. They have obstructed federal law enforcement, endangered public safety, and disrupted the rule of law. This lawlessness is unacceptable. It must end. Now, CHIRLA, of course, is denying everything. They say they only hosted a press event near the scene and had legal observers on standby. But those spike strips says otherwise. Now, let's talk about Governor Gavin Newsom, because California's funding to anti-deportation groups didn't happen in a vacuum. In 2023 and 2024 alone, Newsom approved $73.6 million in taxpayer funds for so-called immigrant services, much of which went to groups like CHIRLA, and that's not including $37 million in January 2024 and another $50 million in migrant legal aid approved in February 2025. That's over $160 million in under 2 years to groups that are helping illegal immigrants fight deportation, even if they have criminal records. So while the state cuts services for law-abiding citizens, defunds police, and struggles with homelessness, millions of dollars are going towards protecting people who are here illegally. So CHIRLA receives massive state grants. It uses those funds to hire lawyers and push legal loopholes to block deportations, even for migrants with serious criminal charges. They organize protests, provide legal cover, and allegedly funded the very riots that targets federal immigration agents. And thanks to their nonprofit status, they claim legal immunity and First Amendment protections, even when the evidence suggests involvement in criminal conspiracy. It's a case study in how the progressive nonprofit machine abuses public funding to undermine federal law enforcement. The CHIRLA investigation is a flashpoint in a much larger battle between state-level sanctuary politics and federal immigration enforcement. It shows us how activist nonprofits are operating as political operatives, shielded by the press, funded by politicians, and protected by loopholes. And it reveals how everyday taxpayers are footing the bill for the destruction of law and order. Perhaps President Trump made the right call by cutting them off financially, but the question remains, how many other CHIRLA-style groups are out there? I mean, what do you think? Do you think CHIRLA should lose its nonprofit status if it's linked to criminal activity? And should taxpayer dollars be used to fund organizations that actively fight against federal immigration enforcement? Let me know in the comments, and as always, if honest commentary brings you value, please make sure you like and subscribe, as it really helps support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.